Hello, this is Neo, just an average CSGO player, and you're watching Thorin's YouTube channel.
This video, like a lot of them on my channel, brought to you by an opportunity to save money on some delicious gamer subs, a great energy formula. You can get 10% off using the code Thorin, Thorin, at gamersubs.gg. That's 10% off everything on their website. Gamer subs, caffeine-free gamer subs, AFK blend to help you all asleep, gamer teas, waifu cops, all the apparel, etc. Right, obviously, we have now reached the third Swiss stage of the Blast Austin Major. I hate it because the first stage, I think, is just some of the worst teams ever that shouldn't even be at a major, in my opinion. It's actually a joke that, like, Australia's Gamer Legion aren't there, but then some bum-ass team from Asia that no one cares about gets to play. They're, like, brilliant. But technically, as a content creator, I should want there to be a first stage because every one of these pick-up videos is just guaranteed views, isn't it? So, actually, it's better for me the more Swiss stages there are. It's just that, guess what, I'm actually legit, so it's not about just what's better for the YouTube channel. I'd rather have a brilliant tournament with BO5 final, best of three, double elim playoff bracket. But alas, we have the similar format with just worse components to it. Now, a key detail when it comes to doing these pick'ems is, I point this out every time, but for those who didn't join the class for the other two stages, is I think before you do the pick'em, you should just do your own simulator. You should just simulate all the matches. It'll give you a sense of what the possible paths are. Then you do the pick'em, don't you? So first things first, I will actually just show you how I did in the last round. By the way, if you think the first stage was bad, stage 2 was appalling for me. So in stage 1, I got Heroic 3-0, Metasport 0-3, and then I got OG Bet Boom. So I was one off. It could have been a wild card, it could have been a fly quest, etc. But if you go, although I couldn't actually because I had wildcard 3-0. That's it. I had bait just making it through, but they went 3-0. In stage 2, it was even worse, because I had VP making it, but I didn't have them 3-0ing. I had Legacy, I think, actually, as one of my 0-3 teams. Yes, I did, which I still don't regret. I had Legacy as a 0-3 team, and then my actual 0-3s were Lin Vision and Legacy. Lin Vision actually went through in the end, and Legacy 3-0. So obviously I didn't get those. I just got 0 out of these. And then I took as my 3-0s, the two obvious ones, took FaZe and Falcons. So I don't regret that, but I'll do that again if this match happened tomorrow. I'd take these two, definitely. And I would probably take Lin Vision. I don't know if I would take Legacy. I could maybe believe they're better than expected. Then over here, I got my only 2 picks, which is I took Furia, just on average. You look at the players, you look at the experience, the core's still there. 3D Max is actually just a canny squad against underdog teams. Now, I didn't have Pain making it through. People might know I do like Pain. It's just the new lineup hasn't had enough time to get it going on LAN. I did have FaZe, but I had them as the 3-0, so that doesn't help me. I didn't have Lin Vision, and I definitely didn't have Namiga, because Namiga, I just haven't seen them do it enough on LAN. They are a true underdog at the moment. They constantly get their pieces picked apart every few months anyway, but fair play to them, they did go through. Now, probably the most shocking part about this was obviously Falcons did go 0-3 in the end, didn't they? And you had things like Bet Boom managed to go 0-3. OG, they were always questionable whether they should win any games. But for example, you'd think on paper, like, I think VP is better than, you'd think they'd beat M80. Admittedly, playing Falcons, you should lose to them. So it's only really this one result I think is unfair for them. It's more that they had to play Falcons down here, right? I mean, you imagine if instead Falcons had beaten Lin Vision, that would be Lin Vision against OG, in which case they could have gone 0-3, potentially, like I thought. Although the way the Legacy Lin Vision played, maybe they would have beaten OG. Who knows on that one? So if we now go to this new stage, first things first, I'm going to go and show you the simulator. So on the simulator, I'm just going to use the classic one, because I've heard people debate which ones do and don't work. This seems like it works out from what I've seen. So remember, we're only picking the team that wins here, who we think is favoured. So Vitality against Legacy is obviously Vitality. Mouse against VP is Mouse. Spirit against Pain is Spirit. G2 against 3D Max, I do think G2 is the better squad. Mongols is the better team there. Aurora should, in theory, beat FaZe. Navi should beat Amiga, and Liquid should beat Lin Vision. So I think the first round is totally fine. It's one of those rare times where I don't have anything to fuck with here, in which case it's actually going to make my simulator very strong, potentially, whereas in the past, you always get crazy upsets, don't you? Or you have one where someone lower seeded is the one you think you should pick over the higher seeded team. So seeding pretty decent on this one. In the 1-0 games, yes, Vitality should beat Liquid. Mouse against Navi is actually probably closer than people realise, because there is a world where that veto could go down to a DOS2, it could go down to a Mirage, but I'm still going to take Mouse to win that one. Spirit against Aurora is obviously always fun, isn't it? Because Spirit has the structure and an amazing superstar player, whereas Aurora actually has more firepower than them. But I will say I do think Team Spirit should be the favoured one there. Now, G2 against Mongols, I'm going to say Mongols is better than G2 right now. This is obviously the G2 with Malbs, etc. This is not the squad you want. It's a dead squad. They're basically going to replace it after the major. So I'll take Mongols to win that one. 0-1 game. I think of the two that Legacy is more legit than Envision, so I'll take Legacy to win that. VP against Amiga, it's an all-CIS battle, but I'll take VP to be the better squad. Crucially, it's a BO1, so they don't have to worry too much about that. Pain Gaming, I don't know where this shit comes from, by the way, where it's like just putting some weird things on. It must just be some bug on the page. Pain Gaming against FaZe Clan. I'm going to say FaZe Clan is going to win that one. And then 3D Max against Furia is a really tough game. That is a really tough game. I think I'm going to say Furia wins that one, actually. Like, I do, the more I watch 3D Max, I do enjoy watching them play. I just don't think they've got the star players. Like, there's a BO1. Okay, Serato alone can win you that one. Then for the 2-0, so we're into the BO3s, remember now. Yes, Vitality should beat Spirit. That one goes without saying. Mouse should beat Mongols. That's totally fine. The 1-1 BO1s, Aurora, Furia, Aurora will win that one. I'm going to say FaZe Clan's better than G2. Now, I'm going to have to see them play into that form, but I also don't really know what you can expect for G2 at this event, quite frankly. They actually overperformed at the last one without Modesty. Na'Vi over VP. In theory, this is a questionable game, but for now, I think you say Na'Vi's better, especially because the map pool VP is a bit shady. They've probably got comparable firepower at this point in time, since both are a little bit underwhelming. Team Liquid against Legacy. I'll say Team Liquid wins that one. Right, 0-3. We're going to find out who goes 0-3 in these BO3s. Pain Game against Linvision. That should be a Pain win, in my opinion. 3D Max is better than Amiga. So I have Amiga and Linvision coming last. And I have Team Vitality and Mouse as my 3-0s. That actually sounds like what I'll probably do in the actual pick'em. I mean, it makes sense. Those are the two best teams in here. And crucially, Spirit doesn't have some crazy nice one because they have to play Vitality. If it was Spirit against Mouse, now I'd have an interesting choice on my hands. But if it's Mouse against Mongols and Spirit Vitality, I think it's an easy choice. In terms of the other ones, Spirit versus FaZe Clan should be Spirit. Mongols against TL. Since it's a group stage, should be Mongols. If this is in the playoffs, I'll take Liquid, but admittedly, they still be a slight underdog. Aurora against Na'Vi should actually be Aurora, in my opinion. Na'Vi just hasn't shown it for a while with this core, and this is exactly the sort of team to slap them with some firepower. G2 against Pain. I'm going to say G2 for now, but I'm tempted to say Pain. I think that's a closer game than people realise, but it is a BO3, so I have to see more from Pain. Legacy against 3D Max. I'm going to say 3D Max, so I'm not a Legacy believer. Fair play that they've walked on water so far, and in my opinion, some of their players have played way above the level fragging-wise you're ever going to see, so if they can keep doing it, then well done to them. I'm going to go with what I think the fundamentals are. VP against Fury, I'm going to say VP's better. Na'Vi against 3D Max should be a Na'Vi win. 3D Max only has a couple of maps they can win on. And if you're smart in Na'Vi, you don't let that go to like an Inferno Decider or something silly like that. FaZe Clan against VP is a very tough one. I'm going to say FaZe Clan gets through on that one. I think you can easily veto match them. And quite frankly, I think Icy's a solid AWP, but he's not as good in VP as he was in Cloud9, actually. So I'll have to say, I actually think Simple can beat him. G2 against Team Liquid. I'm going to say Team Liquid wins that one, actually. I think they should be able to get that one. That's an example of, on paper, I think they're going to play well above the level you expect. And I think G2 is going to be something of a known quantity. If they hadn't played Team Liquid at the end, maybe they could get through. Like if it was G2 against 3D Max, maybe I would take G2, just like I did in the BO1. But if they're playing Team Liquid, I don't think so. So that means I would have Mouse Vitality, Spirit, Aurora, Mongols, Na'Vi, FaZe Clan, Team Liquid. So I've got a lot of the big names, but I also think this is the stage where that makes the most sense, right? So now let's go into the thing here. We'll go, as usual, I'll just go in order. Actually, wait, no, I'll do it the way you should do it. I'll do the 3-0s, I'll do the 0-3. So the 3-0s I think are easy, as the simulator shows. By the way, there is no reason in this format to choose anything other than Vitality 3-0. I can't think of a possible reason that you wouldn't do that right now. Like, certainly they can lose a BO1. But remember, the simulator implies they're going to play, like, Legacy, Team Liquid, and then Spirit in the BO3s. Like, that's even a perfect top 2-0 best of 3 to play as well. Spirit's going to have problems firepower-wise and fucking veto-wise. So that's an easy one to take Vitality. I think similarly, in my opinion, if you're not taking Mouse, the most obvious one is Spirit, but you look who they're going to play. It's a lot more questionable. It's a lot. I mean, they're even going to play Aurora potentially in the 1-0 game. They can lose that one. So I don't think you take Spirit. I think you take Mouse here. It's the obvious one. The only teams that beat them at the moment in series play is Vitality. I think it's possible Na'Vi could do it, but it's mainly going to be like Spirit, Falcons. They're the teams you think it's possible. There is no Falcons. Spirit probably not going to face them at this point in time. And Na'Vi, I just don't believe that I think they've gotten even worse at this point in time. And this isn't a playoff match where they can use pressure against Mouse. So I'm going to take Mouse to be the other 3-0. I think those are very safe 3-0 picks. Along those lines, let's just do the 0-3 quickly. Right. When I did the simulator, it told me Namiga and Lin Vision are the likely ones. Or if not Lin Vision, then Pain are probably the ones for me. I'm a kind of a legacy hater, but even so, if I look at who they're playing, I just think it's plausible they can get a win. Like, for example, if they play Lin Vision, I'll take them to beat Lin Vision. So I guess I am going to say Lin Vision 0-3. And then the other one is Namiga, which makes sense to me because if you look, they have the least experience and LAN experience out of all these teams. They have the least, I won't say the least firepower, but the least stars. And so I already think they've done enough to get this far. They've already actually exceeded my expectations. To me, they're actually like a little bit behind where I had Bait, for example, and Bait didn't make it this far, where it's like online you're good enough to mix it up. So in theory, when you get bedded enough on LAN and the players normalise their performance levels, then you'll start to get like a map in a BO3, the odd upset over like an alright team. But I don't think Namiga is fully there yet. So I'm going to put them as a 0-3. Then in terms of the other 6 teams, right, it's easy to immediately take Team Spirit. I mean, they're more than good enough to get through. And absolutely, you can rely on someone like Donk to just have a good enough performance. It's going to win you a bunch of the games. Similarly with Mongols, I do think they're a really good squad, especially in group stages. Very unlikely that they bomb out here, I think. They could certainly go 2-2, but you get them to the BO3s, they are going to beat most opponents unless they have to play a Phaser and Aurora in like the decider game. Similarly, I think Aurora's a pretty safe team to put through. Yes, they can lose BO1s. They're right BO3. Like, I'll give you an example. There's a crazy world where if they do play 3D Max, they could maybe lose to them. I think Team Liquid could potentially beat them. Na'Vi's a bit more questionable, but maybe. I don't think G2 can beat them. I don't think Legacy can beat them. VP could potentially beat them. Probably won't, though. Just map pool-wise. Pain, I don't think can beat them. Furia, it's not impossible, but you probably need like some crazy Molodoi performance for that one. And Keserato. FaZe, you'd hope can beat them. I mean, they matched up well with the old FaZe lap. So I think that's not a terrible shout. So as I say, Aurora has actual danger there, but they should beat most of these teams. And even if it's 2-2, I would expect them to get through. Right, now is where it gets spicy though. Because I don't actually know if I'm going to pick Na'Vi. Like, am I? Let me think, what were they playing in the simulator? Right, in the simulator, they were playing Namiga first. That should be a win. Then they played Mouse, which I have them losing. Then I have them beating VP, but that's a losable game too. Then I have them playing Aurora, who I have beating them. And then I have them playing 3D Max in a decider. If they can get the 3D Max as a decider, you know what? I guess on average, if I think about who they can win and lose against, certainly they can bomb out, but I'll take them to go through. And you've got like a brilliant coach in Blade. You've still got a great caller in Lexi B. You've got a piece like Bit that's very solid. There's certainly problems in Na'Vi, but I think they've got just enough to get through. But I am thinking it's going to be like a 3-2 type performance. G2, not feeling. Team Liquid, I do think it's possible. Legacy, no. VP is possible. Pain, I don't think so. 3D Max, I don't think so. Furia, no. Right, I've got 2 spots left, but I've got Team Liquid, Virtus.pro, and FaZe to pick from. So crucially, I actually had in my simulator FaZe and VP playing, and then I'm saying I'm just going to take FaZe to win that one. So based on that logic, because the problem with VP is they have less potential than FaZe, and they don't tend to hit their peak form that often. It's always really hard work for them to win a BO3. So I think I'm going to take Team Liquid. I think it's a safe enough pick. I think they even have the quality where put it this way, there's a miracle world where if it wasn't for the fact they'd have to play Vitality, if they instead played like a Spirit, a Mouse in the 1-0 game, I could believe there's a world where they could even go 3-0, but That's more as like a dark horse type one. Put it this way, if this was the old format, I would probably actually do like VP, Vitality and Mouse in the body of it, so they go through no matter what. And I would gamble on like either Aurora or Team Liquid, I think is my 3-0. That's what I think I would do. So it's VP or FaZe here, and I'm going to say FaZe. Now, listen, this isn't gambling. In this particular case, I'm not trying to tell you what I think mathematically makes the most sense, has the best odds. VP and FaZe, I think you're having to believe in one of them anyway. So I'm just going to say I'll believe in FaZe, and I'll believe in Simple to take another 5% leap up in performance level and them to keep acclimatizing. I think they're now starting to figure out some of the map angles and which maps they want to play, which they want to veto. So I think this is pretty safe. The only other one I told you I'm thinking about is just VP and Furia. Pain hasn't got the firepower yet. That still has to stabilise. 3D Max doesn't have the firepower at all. Legacy, I think it's just been a miracle anyway. G2's not a real squad. And Fury is just this bizarre experiment in it. So of these ones, I think I'm very confident in this one, probably Namiga. I think these 3. Spirit, so that would already be 4. I'm easily getting 5. I think for this one, I'll get 5. Look, I'm not going to get the coin. I fucked up all the other ones, but I think I'm going to get 5. In fact, I'd actually say out of this, I think I will get 6. I would guess I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then either like 6, maybe Team Liquid, or definitely one of these 2. Is there any other angle I'm missing here? Like, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll very quickly just look at the simulator and just change back from the ones that were more questionable and see how that would change anything. So in the first round, I had all the same, but I took Mongols to beat G2. We'll change that one. I'll change Pain beating FaZe, 3D Max. It ends up with basically the same teams going through, except there's a world where the simulator would say G2 could make it through. But if I have a look, they wouldn't know, because I'd have to, when they play Na'Vi, I'd have to take Na'Vi for that one. But there's another, actually, if G2 can beat 3D Max, they won't beat Mongols, though, is the problem. That's the issue, isn't it? They won't beat Mongols, but they can beat Pain. Can they beat Aurora? No, I think G2 making it through is too hard. So I'm just going to lock these ones in. I think these are good enough for me. Oh, yeah? You and whose army? Well, how about the Skrilluminati for one? They're the people who support my content. This video was kindly supported by The Concept, Matt, Pugnatio, Rajcula, Thooorin, Jensen Goh, Tosh, Jasun, Banediesel, Animosity, and you know it, everyone does. A special thanks goes out to my main man, Jerky's Minion, for the long-term support. Do you want to ask a question for my AMA videos? Would you like teasers? Find out what upcoming guests I've got? You want to suggest a topic or a guest? Maybe you want to be part of one of those 1-hour lengthy online discussions I do where the topics are set by you. Well, if any of these perks or more tickle your fancy, I think you know what to do by now. Put your money where your mouth is and join the Skrilluminati, where Patreon link in the description below.